And welcome to a day late edition of Sports Nonsense and Whiskey. Hanging out with my boy Pinky. Tuesday, August 24th, coming in hot. We got some topics to discuss tonight, but as always, before we get into that, how you doing, my man?
Dude, I've learned I am really old and I suck at golf. Went and did
Two
Top
very
Golf.
interesting comments. Okay.
Well, I learn more and more every day how old I'm
Sure,
getting.
sure.
I'm only 42, but some things just seem to be breaking down. Um, I suck at golf. I've never really been to a driving range, never really hit golf balls. So when I go to Top Golf, I'm like that guy that you're seeing, like sometimes he misses, sometimes the ball just goes right over the net, sometimes it slices, like there's no telling. And then every once in a while I'll hit that one and you hear the sound and the crack, and it's like, oh, that's a good one. And yet it still only went like 150 yards, right? Or feet or whatever they calculate. But tonight, one of the guys was like, hey, you should try this grip. And he showed me how to grip the club and put the index finger and the pinky and
Lock it in. Yep.
and like that, like it, like whatever that was, like when I tried to like swing it, like completely, like right here is all sore and tight right
Oh,
now.
that's interesting. I've
Like,
yet to hear that one before.
I mean, it's just, it hurts. I was just sitting here doing one of these, like please give me feeling here. But it was fun, good time. But man, I need to get some lessons, man. I suck. I suck
Golf
at
is,
golf.
I mean, you've heard Zach and I talk about it. We play, I wouldn't say regularly, but we play, and we still suck.
I mean,
So,
I've never been overly great at sports, but normally, basketball, I can rebound, I can box people out, I can set a good pick. Like, at least there's things I can do. Football, block. I have some decent hands, but yeah, I've never been just horrible at something, and pretty horrible at golf. It's a pretty humbling experience.
yeah, dude, golf, you could be good at every other sport, and none of that relates to playing golf. Like, there's nothing you can take from another sport and be like, yeah, I could use that while I'm playing golf. Like, there's nothing. Like, golf is its own entity. Like, it's humbling is the right word. It will put you in your place very quickly and make sure you know that you're not any
Very
good.
quickly, very quickly. So that's kind of my nonsense for the week. I mean, other than the drunk guy we ran into at the bar yesterday, that was interesting.
Yeah, that guy was fun.
That guy was crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
that just reminds me of being at a bar, which I haven't been at. Like actually at a, like, we've gone to like Bubba's and stuff, but that's like middle of the day, and
I
so it
mean,
doesn't really count as a bar at that time. It's more of a restaurant,
we
but
did go to a dive bar, so
local neighborhood joint. I love that place.
I do love good company. It's a great place. You will meet some interesting people.
No doubt.
Overtime is
No
another
doubt.
great local bar nearby.
Yep.
You will meet interesting people there as well.
Yeah,
So
anytime you go to like a local neighborhood bar, quote unquote dive bar, you're gonna meet some regulars that you're gonna be like, oh yeah, uh-huh. That's yeah, you're the common denominator that we always hear about at bar.
So, but yeah, that's all the nonsense I got, man. It was actually a pretty good laid back weekend. Didn't really do anything. Watched some preseason football and just relaxed.
Nice. Nice. Well, we got a couple sports things to talk about before we jump into the NFL and then our mock draft. So, first off, I'm going to start with Kevin Durant. For anybody that's been following basketball still, he came out and said he is going to stay with the team, no longer requesting a trade. And I just laughed because he had zero choice in that matter. So the fact that he's acting like he made a decision when he wanted a trade and then they didn't trade him, then he said, you either fire the coach and the GM or trade me. And that didn't happen. He came out and said, we're not trading you. I'm backing my coach and GM. You have a 4-year contract with us that you just signed. Nobody is trading for you or giving us anywhere close to what we want for you. Like, he had zero leverage, and now he's acting like, nah, it's cool. I'm going to work it out. I'm going to be the bigger man. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, you are not in any shape, way, or form a good dude when it comes to, like, sticking it out with your team. In person, in real life, might be a great dude. I got no idea. But when it comes to basketball, he hops around for championships, and now that the Nets didn't work out the way he had hoped they would, he wanted to bounce again. Now he's trying to say, like, he was just trying to stick up for his buddy Kyrie because they didn't sign him to a long-term deal. Like, nobody's signing Kyrie to a long-term deal. So, like, get over yourself.
Do you think they actually went to him and said, we're going to keep trying to trade Kyrie? And that maybe, like, because I still feel like he doesn't want to play with Kyrie.
I don't know. I can't get a good read on if he wants to play with Kyrie or if he was trying to stick up for Kyrie. I can't get a good read on that. I think he was foolish, and I said this way back, if you remember, when they first all signed together. It was a terrible decision on his part, but it fit in perfectly with his MO. So I don't know. I will say, talent-wise, on a basketball court, Kyrie, Durant, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, some of the other pieces they have, they could be crazy dangerous. The problem is they'll have zero team chemistry when it really comes down to it. They won't play a lot of defense. So them winning a championship is slim to none. So regardless of what they have, I don't see it ever working out. And I maintain that. And so far it's held true. But, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds as the year progresses. Kyrie still may get moved. I don't know if anybody's going to want to trade for him to begin with because he's on a one-year deal. So there's not a lot of incentive to trade pieces for him unless he's, going to backdoor negotiate an extension as soon as he gets traded. So there's just not a lot of good things coming out of the Brooklyn Nets situation.
All right, moving on.
Big weekend coming up, baby. Big weekend. It's my Huskers revenge / get back at it tour. Starts Saturday, 10:30 a.m. up in Dublin, Ireland, playing Northwestern Wildcats. My boys are coming this year. I'm telling you, this is finally the year they start turning it around.
And when Northwestern beats them, you'll probably say maybe next year.
That's not happening. They're going to smoke Northwestern. They're going to smoke them just like they did last year.
Every couple of years, Northwestern's good. Every couple of years.
That's fine. That's cool. They're still going to smoke them. I don't care if they're good or not. Nebraska's going to smoke them. Then they're going to win their next 2 games, and they're going to play Oklahoma at home. And they're going to smoke Oklahoma, and they're going to start 5-0, and people are going to start respecting my boys again. It's going down, baby.
They're definitely not smoking Oklahoma, but
yeah, they are. They lost to them by a touchdown last year, and they lost the turnover battle by 3. They're coming. They're coming.
Yeah, you say that every season, so.
Well, look, hope springs eternal as a Husker fan, and I am very adamant about the fact that it's hard for me to be unbiased when it comes to my Huskers. But I've also been realistic in the past that there's opportunity and there's chances and there's some what ifs. I'm not playing that game this year, man. Shit is going down this year.
Yeah, no. I'm not feeling it, my man.
That's fine. Anybody that's not a Husker fan never feels the Huskers.
I mean, yeah. Well, they haven't given us any reason to feel them, so.
They will this year, baby. It's coming. It's coming. Big Red's coming. That sea of red's about to wash over people.
Yeah, no. Nah. My team's in the top 15 right now, so I'll take it, but I don't know how long that's going to last.
Yeah, Miami's overrated. Overrated.
Their QB this year's not too bad.
Ben Dyke's not bad at all. They're still overrated. 15's too high. Too high.
We'll see.
But
I don't have a lot of faith in them. I don't know. I don't think they're going to roll, but they're in the top 15 right now. So
Huskers are going down Saturday, 10:30 a.m. And then after that goes down, I got to go do a fantasy draft with all of our buddies for your league. here at my place. So that's going to be a great Saturday coming up. I'm very excited.
You've got a jam-packed Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Gonna have to pace yourself a little bit. Make sure you're, feeling all right before the draft.
I don't drink during Husker games unless I'm at the game. I don't. I'm already too hyped up and emotional during the games. I don't usually drink during Husker games. Now, if I'm at the stadium, I'll drink. If I'm at a bar with a bunch of friends, I'll drink. But if I'm just at home watching it, I don't drink. I don't drink.
Smoke, I only drink when the Broncos
but not doing that anymore either. Yeah, well, hopefully you'll be doing a lot of that this year.
Got the bottle of Screwball ready.
Attaboy. Other than that, I don't have a lot of stuff otherwise going on. There's some interesting stuff going on in baseball, but it's still not enough for me to really start bringing it up full tilt. We'll talk about playoffs and stuff when that happens and keep an eye on the series, but Judge is still on a good pace. Verlander's pitching at a crazy clip right now. There's some other, minor storylines here and there. Tatis is a dumbass. I will say, if you have not caught the video, go check my man out, who is just he's got to be a genius. I mean, there's no other way to state such an act that he went out and did. Ingenuity at his finest, as I said on the Facebook page. My man took a straw, took the center out of a hot dog, and then used the hot dog as his straw to drink his beer. Yep, that really happened.
I don't like my beer with a lot of salt with it. I feel like you would get the sodium content of the hot dog. Yeah, I don't know if
quite the move, man. It's quite the move. I will say it is quite the move.
I'm willing to try different things, so that I might be willing to try that, right?
I mean, first off, drinking a beer through a straw is already kind of looked down upon situation.
It's a little hoity-toity right there. I don't know who drinks a beer with a straw.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever done that, but props to that man. I believe he's a Yankees fan. Props to that man for thinking outside the box.
I hope he ate the inside. That way he at least ate some of the dog.
Right, the dog would have tasted pretty good. I don't know if the beer tastes better, but the dog would have got some nice flavor, you would think.
Yeah, that's weird. People are weird, though,
Hey, each their own, my man. Each their own. You and me both. Final note I'll say with baseball. Last baseball story. Did you hear about the Oakland A's?
I did not.
2 fans, upper deck, way outfield.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Caught in the act of, we'll call it making love.
Our buddy Jared may have been at that game, actually.
The Oakland A's sent these 2 people in for investigation to the Oakland police to find out who they are and hopefully prosecute them. Probably the only 2 fans in the stadium, and they're going to turn them away.
I know. They were willing to sit up way up high, like nobody around them. I don't see a problem with it. I'm fine with it.
Paid to come to the game and support the team, and you're going to tell them no.
I mean, if little Bobby is looking up in the stands, I'm not sure they can see what's going on, right?
And even if he can, you know what? You're at baseball, you explain the game, you explain life and the birds and the bees, and you have one hell of a day.
You see, son, that's what we call a home run over there.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, I couldn't believe it when I read that story.
Jared may have been at that game, actually, because he was out at Oakland with a bunch of buddies. They're doing what Andy and I are doing, where we're hitting all the football stadiums.
Okay.
They're hitting all the baseball stadiums. So they were there last week for an A's game, and I think they went to a Giants game as well. But the A's game, they had like seats literally right behind where the batter, like where the on deck circle was.
Yeah.
Like the on deck folks would come and sit like on the railing, and they were right next to him. Jared was sending
Easiest ticket in sports to get right now.
It was an expensive ticket still. I mean, I think it was like $50, but
Yeah,
it
that's
came
not
with
an expensive
food.
ticket.
It came with food and drinks as well.
Definitely not an expensive ticket.
So he was right down there for batting practice and stuff. Like it was cool. It's still
any other baseball stadium that ticket's running you a couple hundred easy,
right? Like you can't even get in the door for $50 at Yankee Stadium.
No, that's Oakland. Pathetic. Bad all around.
But they don't care. So finally,
that's obvious. That's
finally, their
obvious.
fans are starting to show them, like, okay, well, you don't care, we don't care either. So,
wish the Rockies fans would do that.
Got too many people still going, man.
It'll never happen as long as Coors Field is Coors Field, man. That place is a destination, and the Montforts know it, and they use it as a cash grab.
The Montforts were marketing. They've been using the strategy of marketing when other teams come to town.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually being like, yeah, the Cardinals are coming to town. Come on out and see your Cardinals. What? So crazy.
Agreed.
That's enough about baseball, though.
Yep, I agree. John, well said, sir. Well said.
Yes, I wouldn't pay $50 either. Like $10 night game. I might do that.
Nope.
$10 in a night game.
Nope. But I'm not going to another Rockies game until that ownership changes. Not doing it.
I don't know why Ivan's jumping in trying to be the Jersey guy. I'm the Jersey guy in this place.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And nobody wants a Bucks jersey.
I like the Bucks.
I'll take a creamsicle.
Creamsicle Devin White? That'd be nice.
No. Creamsicle Derek Thomas. I mean, not Derek Thomas. Why did my head just totally go blank? Warren Sapp. I don't know why I said Derek Thomas. Creamsicle Warren Sapp. I'll rock that.
Are you able to do comments? I can't do comments.
I've never been able to do comments.
I don't know what's going on here. I want to comment to Ivan, but I can't. Give me a sec. I'm going to remove myself and come back.
Oh, man. Well, here we are, people. This is what it's come to. You got me. Pinky's trying to comment. It's never going to work. We're just going to keep going.
I can usually comment. I don't know why I can't.
Well, people are just going to have to listen to us talk then tonight, Pinky.
I guess so. But Mike,
you got to rest those fingers anyways.
Mike Allstock Creamsicle would be smoking hot.
It's not bad.
Go with Ivan on that.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good, man.
I mean, the Bucks are, let's be honest, they're about to be 17, 18 weeks away from being irrelevant again. So
I'm still high on the Bucks this year.
I'm just saying Brady's done after this year, so they're back to irrelevant, right?
Yes, Brady's going to either go to Fox or he's going to go to another team.
Yeah. So Bucks fans, live it up while you can. Enjoy it while you can.
There we are. Maybe I can comment off my phone. There we are. So let's run down the quick NFC West, AFC West real quick. We'll get through that. And then it's mock draft time, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the NFC West, obviously we got the worst team out there. I'm pretty confident they're going to get a top 5 pick, and I think that's easy to bet on the Seahawks.
I don't think you need to say pretty confident. I think that's a guaranteed, and that's being, you can jump that to a top 1 or 2 pick easy.
I listened to Pete Carroll earlier and talking about the quarterback battle, and he even brought up the old saying, if you have 2, you have none. But I really think we have 2 guys that are starters, and I was just like, he kept saying he wanted Geno to have the job, but Drew's done such a great job, and I'm just like, bro, it doesn't matter who you will throw out there. They're both not going to do great. Your team is not good enough to handle with having a backup QB out there as your starter.
Nope. And here's the deal. Geno is a backup. Like, he's a serviceable backup, but he's a backup. Drew Lock, if you have any potential of having your franchise QB, it's going to be Drew Lock because he's shown some flashes. But if he can't be it, you're dipping into the quarterback pool next year. I mean, that's just a fact. They got nothing on defense anymore. Bobby Wagner left, went down to LA, so they got nothing on defense. Offensively, you still got Tyler Lockett, you still got DK Metcalf, and you drafted Kenneth Walker. Rashad Penny looked really good at the end of the season. First time he's been healthy in his career. So you got a couple pieces here and there, but nothing that's going to scream, hey, we're going to win games this year.
Yeah, I just I just think that roster's bad, man.
Real bad.
And I just don't think John Schneider has done a great job drafting in the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, besides, picking up DK and Tyler Lockett, other than that, their drafts have been pretty bad. This might have been their first 2 picks this year, Cross and Kenneth Walker, could turn out to be pretty good for them. So that's probably pretty good. But their defensive picks have been awful.
And they still don't have an offensive line. Like, probably the worst offensive line in the league.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, if I'm a Seattle fan, there's zero hope. Zero hope. The hope is you get the number 1 overall pick and you get to pick your poison next year with the quarterbacks coming out. That's your hope.
Well, again, that could be their whole plan, but they can't go out and say that.
And let's be honest, you should be trading DK for a first and a second or something like that so you can draft some offensive linemen. Otherwise, you're going to end up like the Jets and Sam Darnold.
I just cannot wait to unleash. I'm going to just enjoy so much week 1 when Russ puts up 35 against the Seahawks and we whoop that ass, because all the Seahawks hate on Russ just drives me nuts. Like, if you want to be like, okay, well, he left us, he didn't want to be for us. Why is that?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, why did he not want to play for you anymore? Like, that doesn't just happen overnight. So I've told guys from the beginning, Russ would still be in Seattle if Pete Carroll would have changed his system or John Schneider cared. And that's it. And they got to a point they were like, well, we're not going to change. And with the owner dying, like, it's his wife that's kind of controlling the team or not controlling the team. I feel like if there was an actual owner, they would have been like, John and Pete, sorry, you're fired. I'm not trading Russell Wilson.
Oh, absolutely. By all accounts, the wife is just kind of owning the team, but is actively looking to sell without actively looking to sell. Like, there's just like no reason. Like, she wants nothing to do with it. By all accounts, it seems like. So they're kind of doing their own thing, kind of like the Broncos have been for the last 10 years or so, and it's going to get real ugly in Seattle before it ever gets better. That's for sure.
So they need to somebody needs to be able to hold John Schneider accountable. Or Pete.
Both of them. They both should go. I mean, they're both not good anymore. Not even close to good.
So Seahawks will be last in that division. I think the Cardinals will be third in that division, which is tough because they were one of the top teams last year. But I think they kind of overperformed. I think they were 11-0 or 9-0 last year.
I don't think they overperformed last year. I think they lost some pieces on the defensive side of the ball. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be suspended for the first 6 games. And I think that's going to put them in a bit of a hole that they're not going to be able to get out of and make it into the playoffs this year. I also I'm a big Kyler guy, you know that, but he's starting to throw some question marks up for me that I'm not too sure about. So I think this is a make it or break it year for Kyler, to be honest with you, even though he already got paid.
I mean, he got paid. They're not getting out of that deal. So he's there. I
just mean in terms of being considered one of the top dudes in the league. You know what I mean? Like,
and I think
the way he falls off the second half of the season, injuries, nicks, this and that. Like, he's got to show out all year. It's just not going to be good for him.
I think they have to give Kingsbury an extension soon.
He already got paid.
Did he get an extension?
He got the extension. Him and the GM both got extensions before they did Kyler.
Oh, man. So nothing's changing there then. I just I don't see them making the playoffs this year, and they can still be a good team and not make the playoffs. Is kind of what I think.
Yeah, I think they'll be a good team, just not a playoff team. One of those weird things.
They are in the NFC, so could they be vying for 6 or 7 seed? Sure.
Possibly.
And then we've got the 49ers, which I'm intrigued about. I think as we show everybody our what we came up with for our predictions, will show that we were still pretty high on the Niners. But it's really going to be about how does Trey Lance handle, all the different situations he's gonna get into this year, being behind, being up, back and forth. How is he going to be able to handle that 2 minutes? We don't know. And so that's where the 49ers are kind of that one team. It's like we really don't know if he doesn't play great, are they going to win as many games as they won last year? Are they going to get to that NFC Championship game?
I think they're going to be better with Trey Lance. I do. I think they're going to be better with Trey Lance. So I think they're going to be right in the hunt for the NFC Championship, and see what happens from there. The kicker with that team is, can they stay healthy? Kittle plays half a year. Debo's had some nicks. Their running backs have all had nicks. Like Nick Bosa. They're almost the Chargers of the NFC. So if they can stay healthy, they're going to be right there. If they can't stay healthy, they could fall off real quick.
Yeah, there's I still think they're going to be pretty good. I just don't know if they're going to be like one of the top NFC teams. They could if Lance plays well.
I think they're going to be better than the Bucs.
We'll see. I don't bet against Brady. I've learned that rule. I don't bet against Brady.
Yeah, you don't have to, but when he doesn't have an offensive line, that is his kryptonite, and he doesn't have an offensive line. So, shit's about to get real for Mr. Tom Brady Jr.
They're going to have to figure that part out. I agree.
Thomas Edward Brady Jr. Isn't that the full? Yeah, he's going to have a rough year, I think.
Yeah, Thomas Edward Brady, something. And of course, we got the Super Bowl champs, the Los Angeles Rams. I just like McVay. I like him as a coach.
Love McVay.
I just find them an interesting team. And again, they have stars. They've got a top wide receiver. They've got a top quarterback. They've got the top defensive player in the league. They've got one of the top corners in the league in Jalen Ramsey. They've got stars. So LA, star power, beautiful stadium. They're going to be so fun to watch this year. So
they're now, the thing about LA, and they haven't had issues staying healthy, but man, they're 1 or 2 injuries away from falling off real quick, because they might be the thinnest team in the league when it comes to depth.
Oh, their depth is not good. If their O-line, now that they don't have Whitworth, anybody on that O-line goes down, that's going to be tough. Now, again, Stafford's played with shitty O-lines his whole career, so he could still make it happen, but they won't be as good if they don't stay healthy, for sure.
Right, and then they're a Ramsey or Darnold away from that defense being bottom 3rd in the league.
Oh yeah, if either one of those guys miss some time, their defense is not great. Their defense is not good against the run. Period.
No, it's not. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we've got them, one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC easy, but they're an injury or 2 away from not making the playoffs. Like, that's how thin they are. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for the season. Obviously, we always judge things on everybody stays healthy and you play the season out that way, but it's still something that has to be discussed and looked at under a microscope a little bit, just due to the fact that they put all their eggs in one basket for sure.
They did. They are trying to maximize their Super Bowl window, right?
Yep, and they've done it. They won the Super Bowl.
I remember when they traded. Remember when they traded for Ramsey, and then following that they traded for Stafford. I have a buddy, and we were talking about it, and I was just like, he hated it giving up picks for this 30-some-year-old quarterback and all that stuff. Just like, no, man, they're going all in.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Love it.
If you go all in and you try to strike while the iron's hot, that's what you want. And hopefully you get a ring out of it. Occasionally you go all in and it doesn't work out. Because, again, it doesn't guarantee you're going to get a ring. It just means you're really trying to get one. And I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I commend guys for having those again, because once this window closes, they're going to be rebuilding their whole team again.
Oh, yeah, they're going to start over. Completely start over for sure.
So
now on to the best division in football.
So, newsflash, every team in this division can make the playoffs.
Yes.
That's how good they are.
Yes.
And everybody has their own rankings. Everybody has their own kind of thoughts on where the quarterbacks rank, where the coaches rank, where the players rank. I mean, the best roster in football is probably the Chargers, top to bottom.
Yeah,
they probably have the best roster in football. But as we've learned from the Chargers are going to charger, and they have found ways to lose games. Unfortunately, they've had key players get hurt on a regular basis over the last probably 3 to 5 years. So it's tough to say, hey, they're going to be, the best team that they should be, but they do have that potential. I have the Raiders as the last team, in my opinion. And I still think their offense got really good. I don't think their defense did much. Chandler Jones will help Max Crosby, but I just think based on the teams we will all play, and they play a tougher schedule because they made the playoffs, it's going to be tough for them to repeat their success. And I still think they'll be a good team. I still think they'll beat the Chiefs, and they can beat the Chargers, and they can beat the Broncos, and I think they can beat some of the top teams out there. I mean, they were very close to beating the Bengals in the playoffs last year. So anything's possible. I just when I line it all up, I just don't think they're as good as the other three teams.
You can call it a hot take if you want to, but I have a funny, sneaky feeling that for the first time in NFL history, we're going to see every team in a division make the playoffs.
I don't. It's not a hot take per se, but I just don't think it's mathematically possible based on, I still think 2 teams are coming out of the AFC North. And if
I would have agreed with that until Deshaun Watson got suspended 11 games.
I still think the Bengals and the Ravens are making the playoffs, which is going to leave one team from the AFC West on the outside looking in.
I think if that happens, it's going to come down to a tiebreaker, and the Bengals will win the tiebreaker.
You still have a team like Miami who does get to play New York and New England twice, and they should beat the crap out of both of those teams.
They should.
So they are also that team that's got a pathway. And again, the Steelers could find a pathway to be the second team. So I just don't – could all 4 make it talent-wise? Absolutely. The way that the math works out, that it's probably not possible, I don't think. But they do have the talent to do that. They would have to basically split in the division and then just beat everybody else they play. And then they all could in that situation. So
I like it to happen.
Now, again, this is where the top 3 teams, is, whoever you go with. I still think probably the Broncos are the 3rd team, but they are a playoff team. And to me, that has more to do with this is a first-time coaching staff than the talent of the players around them or Russell Wilson. I also think they could win the division too.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the coaching staff. I know everybody keeps bringing that up as a negative and why a lot of people are picking Broncos to finish last in the division. But the coaching staff can't be worse than it was the last 7 years. So,
well, I do think they'll be better on offense for sure. I have no
They're
doubt.
not going to be worse on defense. Fangio is overrated, incredibly overrated.
He plays a different style of defense than
it doesn't work in the modern NFL.
Well, I mean, it works, but if your offense isn't putting up 21 points, it doesn't work. We were only putting up 17 on average.
He was allowing his defense to stay on the field too much because he was paying that bend, don't break. We'll get into the 20, and then we'll just let them get field goals or nothing. That doesn't work anymore, man. Your defense plays that much, they're going to end up breaking at some point. And it proved time and time again that's what happened. Late in games, the defense was asked to try and win a game or keep it close for them, and they couldn't do it because they're just tired. Now, part of that was because the offense was, terrible at best. But at the same time, it could have been the same this year. They could have gotten Russ. Fangio could have still been here. If the offense is scoring quickly, then your defense is still on the field a lot. So it still doesn't work. If you have a high-power offense, that defense just doesn't run it anymore. It doesn't work anymore in today's NFL. I don't like it. I never liked the Fangio hiring to begin with.
His defense never generated the turnovers he kept talking about.
Nope.
And when you don't have a great offense, you need those turnovers to give your offense more cracks at scoring, and we didn't get them.
There's enough veteran leadership on this Denver team to where the coaching staff isn't that big of an issue for me. Now, I think they'll have some bumps in the road because everybody's got to learn, and the only way you learn is by doing it, and this is the first time they're going to be doing it. But I've yet to hear or see anything coming from Nathaniel Hackett that says, the moments are going to be too big for him. But I heard that all the time from Fangio.
I think he's going to be a really good coach. I really do.
So I'm not – now, I don't disagree. I can easily see Denver being the third best team or winning the division because they do have a loaded roster. They're right up there with San Diego when it comes to overall roster construction.
You owe a dollar.
You know what? It's always going to be – I know it's L.A. We all know it's L.A., but it should be San Diego, and Spano's a dumbass.
It should be San Diego. They shouldn't be renting their stadium.
It's so ridiculous for so many reasons. But yeah, LA Chargers. They're, by all accounts, they're the deepest roster in the NFL, the most talented roster in the NFL. But Denver is not far behind. And then we'll get to LA here in a second. But moving back up, then KC. I'm still a little bit baffled why everybody thinks they're going to be so good. I think they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be great. I think Patrick Mahomes is really good. I don't think that offense is going to struggle that much. That defense is not good at all. And with the high-powered offenses that have come over into the AFC, they should have lost to Buffalo last year.
They're going to
make a couple stupid choices.
I think Kansas City's defense is going to put more pressure on the Chiefs' offense than they've had in the past.
Big time.
And last year during their losing streak, their defense struggled and their offense struggled. And that's why, they had a couple games that Mahomes looked normal. He didn't look like the superhero that he normally looks. Now, again, I think some teams, when they play certain defenses, are going to make Mahomes look a little normal because they're going to put pressure on him, and he's not going to have that. I can spin backwards 15 yards and then just chuck it 50 to Tyreek.
Right.
He's not going to have that. He's going to have to play more, move the ball methodically down the field. Now, they've done that in preseason so far. I've watched both of their games against the Bears and the Commanders, and sure enough,
not very great teams playing vanilla defense.
Those defenses are not good.
Means nothing to me.
He basically just, run the ball for 4 yards, throw a 7-yard pass. Like they just methodically move the ball down the field.
And I think they can do that all season. It's just their defense is never going to stop anybody, and it's not going to work out for them in the long run.
It puts that pressure on your offense to score every time you have the ball.
Yep. With
their defense. Because, again, they did draft a really good player in George Karlaftis. I think that guy's going to be really good. Andy's really excited about him.
I like him a lot.
He's got a really high motor, and I think he's going to be a good player, but their back end is just bad. Their two linebackers are pretty good against the run, Willie Gay and Nick Bolton. I really like Nick Bolton because he's from Missouri that they drafted last year. Really fast, good against the run. Problem is they got no D linemen besides Chris Jones to help out stopping the run.
And Chris Jones isn't known for stopping the run. He's more of a pass rusher.
He does pretty good against the run. I'm
not saying he's bad against the run. I'm just saying if you're going to put him as one or the other, he's more of a pass rusher than he is a defensive.
But I can run away from Chris Jones.
You can run at Chris Jones. He's not a body that's going to take a double team and eat up space.
He's pretty quick and he's big. He could do that, but
no,
you can scheme. You can scheme it away from him.
He's not double. He's not an Aaron Donald, Vita Vea, Dominican Sue type where he can take a double team and eat that for the rest of the guys. That's just not his MO. He's never done that, ever. He's really good one-on-one, and if you can get him to play one-on-one, and if George Karlaftis can show out on the other side of him, that could help. But you got nobody in the middle to stuff it, and if you can put bodies on their linebackers on the second level, that's not going to – people are going to eat 5-6 yards against them in the run game, I bet. And then they got nothing on the back end.
I mean, Spagnuolo, his defense normally only lasts like 2 years before it just completely goes to shit. Everywhere he's been, his defense is really good for a year or two, and then it just goes to garbage. And again, I just don't think they have the back end players. Their best cover corner was Shavarius White, Ward, who's not great, but he was good for them, and Honey Badger, and they let both of those guys walk.
Yep.
So they replaced him with a rookie who could be good, but rookie corners aren't great out of the box normally. They can have some good moments, but they're not usually consistent. And then Justin Reed is a hard-hitting safety. He's not a cover safety.
Right.
So Honey Badger was both.
Yep.
So I think and Honey Badger, I think, was the leader of the defense. So
absolutely. Yeah.
He made somebody, and even Daniel Sorensen, number 49, Dirty Dan. Like he always made a play against the Broncos. I think
that doesn't mean anything because the Broncos were trash the last 7 years. Like don't even add that into the equation. Play calling was worthless. Player personnel was not great. Like there are just so many things that you can't judge that. He didn't look great against anybody else.
So I do think the Chiefs are taking a step back this year. I don't see them. I think Buffalo would handle them this year.
Chiefs are going to be fighting for one of those last playoff spots.
I still think they're a good team, though.
Yeah,
I won't bet against them.
Just the AFC's loaded,
but it's going to be a struggle. I do think they're the second in the AFC West. They could be third. I think Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos could all take top spot in the West.
I think Chiefs are third personally, but that's fine.
I mean, orange glasses,
I'm saying that without orange glasses, Broncos have more depth on defense. They've got at least as many weapons on the offensive side of the ball now with Russell Wilson at quarterback. So overall, I think Broncos have a better team on paper. Now, the question mark is going to be the coaching staff and the play calling and all of that. But again, I'm not that worried about it.
I'm glad that we have an easy schedule up front to get some of the growing pains out of the way.
For sure.
Now, I think we agree the Chargers should be the best team in the division. Not sure if
they're loaded. Loaded.
They have two players on defense that make a difference. And you can almost add in a third that are not always healthy. And that's where I think people forget. Now, again, if they stay healthy the whole season, that defense should be pretty damn good. But
should be top five, easy.
When's the last time Joey Bosa was healthy for a whole season?
Yeah, same with Derwin James.
When's Derwin James healthy for a whole year? And then Khalil Mack, the last 2 seasons, he's been banged up because he's older now. I mean, that happens when guys are older, and he plays more of a power game than a speed game. And when you play a power game, it leads to, injuries. So
and then they signed J.C. Jackson, who just had ankle or foot surgery or something. Should be ready to go by the start of the season, they said, but Still, that's already a like what's happening red flag.
What do we know about ankles? They get hurt. Pretty easy to hurt them again.
They don't recover quickly. That's for sure. That's for sure. So it's an interesting situation there. And the other red flag that everybody knows about is they have the worst strength and conditioning and medical staff in the history of the NFL. So not like they're going to keep guys healthy or help them recover if they do get hurt.
It is amazing how many injuries they've dealt with over the last 5 years. Dating back to even when Phillip Rivers was there were multiple times they had so much talent. They were dark horse Super Bowl candidates. And before long, they either had injuries or they chargered.
Spano's renting space in somebody else's stadium. He's probably renting his medical staff too and refuses to pay him. So
something's going on there.
Yeah, not good. But defense is loaded, and then the offense is just, crazy. Justin Herbert is a lot of people's MVP pick going into the season. Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen.
I wish they had like that superstar number one wide receiver. They don't technically have that right now. They have a good grouping.
Is pretty much that.
Keenan Allen is like top of the line possession receiver.
He's the most underrated, disrespected wide receiver in the NFL.
No, he's so super consistent after he got over his injury issues that he had his first couple years. He's been amazingly consistent. He's always there, runs great routes. But I'm talking like on that level. Devontae, Tyreek, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp. Like he's not on that level. He's not.
There's only a handful of guys that, there's only a handful of teams that have that anyways.
If
you're going to put them at the very top tier, Keenan Allen is right below them.
Yeah, he is. Again, he's not, to me, he's not a superstar number one. If they had one.
But again, there's only, 5 of those in the NFL?
Jamar Chase. Kupp in that offense. Jefferson,
so Chase, Kupp, Jefferson, Devontae Adams. Like, that's 4.
Tyreek Hill's in there.
I wouldn't put Tyreek Hill in there.
I'd put Jalen Waddle up there.
I wouldn't put either one of those up there with those 4.
I would.
Wait, dude. Tyreek Hill with Mahomes, you could put up there. Tyreek Holmes with Tua, you can't put in there anymore.
We'll see. But again, that's the only thing I'm like, I wish they had that one. Now, Keenan Allen's good. Mike Williams, when healthy, is good. Pretty darn good. I just wish they had that top guy for Herbert. But Keenan Allen's getting up there in age. They've drafted O-line lately in the last 2 years. So I think that, within the next year or two, you're going to see them go out and get a wide receiver in the draft. I think they will. But
we'll see.
And again, they've been kind of recycling tight ends too. So they don't have Everett's good, but again, he's been with the Rams. He's been with the Seahawks. Now he's with the Chargers. They don't have like a Travis Kelce or an Ertz or a Goddard or Waller or Kittle or, it'd be nice if they had a top tight end too.
But again, only 4 teams in the NFL have one of those guys too. So that's pinky.
It's just things I'd like to see with that offense. Again, as I've become, I used to get really emotional during Broncos games. I've kind of not gotten as emotional anymore. I do enjoy watching all the different teams in the NFL. I love watching great defense. I can definitely enjoy watching the shootout with offenses going back and forth. The Chargers are fun to watch. And I just again, that's just if they added some of those extra pieces, which they could in the next few years, I think it just takes them to a whole nother level. They would
if they got those pieces, they'd be unstoppable. They're in the same position that Josh Allen and the Bills are in. They've got really good guys. They don't quite have that top elite guy like you're asking for. And look what the Bills are doing. Justin Herbert's going to do the same thing.
Which, again, we all agree Buffalo's the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, but man, Chargers healthy. They're neck and neck with Buffalo.
They're not battle tested yet. We haven't seen them in the playoffs yet.
I know.
There's still some things, but could they match up well? Sure. So Expect a deep Chargers run this year. That's what I'm expecting.
Absolutely.
And again, I think I don't hate the Chargers as much as I used to during the Phillip Rivers years when he would just slaughter the Broncos. I hated them to my core.
I think Broncos fans hated Phillip Rivers so much because he talked smack as the nicest guy possible.
And I still hate. I do hate Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's the only dude that I can talk crap and get completely shut down by Chris Harris multiple games, and still talk crap like he was doing anything. So,
I mean, that wasn't just Chris Harris shutting him down. There was a lot of bracket coverage and over and under coverage.
All I know is
if they shut down Keenan Allen, there wasn't much else to do.
You can't go out there and talk crap and then get pretty much shut out and not back it up.
You can too if your team wins. You can talk a lot of crap if your team wins,
well, especially
if they're focusing all their energy on you and everybody else is going off.
And they're the only team we've really beaten the AFC West over the last 4 years.
This is true.
So, Chargers going to Charger.
Yeah, until they can change that. That is a true statement.
I
like their coach too a lot, though. Actually, I like Brandon Staley a lot. The way he's aggressive and he goes out to win the game and not just play not to lose. I like that a lot.
I put that on Twitter, and I had a lot of blowback from that. I did have one guy that backed me up and just said he's not wrong. Hopefully, he's wrong this year, and they find a way to actually win games instead of losing. There's no reason the last 2 years they should have lost a game to the Broncos with Drew Lock at quarterback and Teddy Bridgewater.
They shouldn't have lost to the Raiders.
Shouldn't have lost to the Raiders. They should have whooped the Raiders.
Some not great coach. I mean, calling that timeout at the end of the game cost them a playoff spot with the Raiders and them tying, which should have happened. And the fact that the NFL allows those things is, I'm not going to go down that road. We all know how much I hate that. But yeah, I mean, they've had some bad luck that just seems to run in the organization throughout history. I mean, damn. You could go back and say Dan Fouts might be considered one of the best quarterbacks of all time if he had just been able to get to a Super Bowl.
I think that's absolutely true.
You know what I mean? So Chargers history just says that they're going to Charger, like you said, and it's been unfortunate.
And the poor Chargers, again, it's their bad luck. You know, they go play in one of the most humid games of all time down in Miami in the playoffs. Win that game, and the following week they have to play in one of the coldest games of all time in Cincinnati. That's just ridiculous. The fact that those most of those dudes still were healthy and played games after that season is amazing, because that would kill some people.
I mean, Antonio Gates, if he didn't play for the Chargers and put up those numbers with anybody else, would be considered one of the top 3 or 4 tight ends of all time.
He's in the top 5, or at least in the conversation.
He's in the conversation of top 5, but he's not a lock. You know what I mean? But that part of that is because he played for the Chargers. I truly believe that. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can finally overcome that this year, because I really like what they put together. I love Justin Herbert. I'm amazed people did not take him more seriously coming out of college.
We'll
I know see what happens.
I know John Elway really wanted Herbert, but he stayed in, I think, a year longer. If he had come out the year before, Elway was ready to give up everything for him.
Still should have been ready. You know what I mean? Let's not go down that road, because I still think, I'm not going to go down there.
Yeah,
let's not do that.
Let's not cry tonight, okay?
Let's not do that.
All right, so we finished up the West, NFC, and AFC. Next week, before the season starts, we'll put out our prediction episode.
2 weeks.
We have 2 weeks?
2 weeks before we'll do that. The Tuesday before the Thursday night kickoff is when we'll put out the schedule.
Okay.
So we've still got next week. We'll have to do some filler airtime next week. And then following week will be our whole schedule release going into the season.
We could always do the prediction show next week, followed by the betting show before the season starts the following week.
I think that's an all-in-one inclusive. I think next week's going to be – we'll talk. Stay tuned, people. We'll talk.
We'll debate. All right.
We'll see.
I know the time that you've been waiting for. Let me share my screen. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is where I miss music. Like if we had music, we could drop in right here.
I know.
Let's see. Did Sleeper go to sleep on me? There we are. All right, guys. Here we go. Sharing my screen. All right. So we have a 12-team mock draft. We're going to run through any of you fantasy guys out there. If you're just looking to see what we think, get that second opinion, we're here to give it to you. And if you have any comments, you want to ask questions, drop it in the comments.
We can pause the draft real easily, do a little discussion. 12-team PPR, standard format, 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex, right? That's how you have it set up?
I think it's 2 flex because we don't do defenses or kickers because that's for losers.
That's right. 2 flex. So pretty standard. Nothing crazy with scoring or anything. But this will give you a general idea of where we see people going, how we feel about guys, and starting this weekend, it's big time mock draft season, and standard drafts for almost everybody's league start this week and the following weekend going into the season. So we're going to try to give you some ideas. I took the 5th spot. Going to go kind of in the middle of the draft here, give you some ideas of what we're feeling in that middle round area. Pinky took the back end, so he'll do a wrap scenario for you and give you an idea of where we're looking at something like that. And everything else is going to be auto. So, auto picks can be a little subjective and not quite give you a great feel for what, other people in your league are doing. But again, if you're playing in a league that you've been in for a while, you should have an idea of what your league mates are going to do anyways. You should have an idea of kind of what they're thinking based on past seasons. So this is more kind of give you an idea of maybe where guys are going on Sleeper based on their rankings and then kind of how we feel about them.
Look, you should always know what your league mates are thinking of doing. Most people are pretty much like a book, man. After you've seen them draft 2 to 3 years, they're pretty much going to stick to that strategy. They don't.
What up, Cody?
Cody's in the house. Cody, I can't respond to comments for some reason, so just know that we hear you and we love you, buddy. So we'll just get this started and see what happens, and we'll talk about it. I did set it to 5 minutes for our picks, so we have time to kind of talk about it.
Cool.
And here we go.
Let's do it.
Did I not set it to auto pick?
Let's look.
Where are the settings? Let me just do the settings on my phone. It's so much easier.
Yeah. Go set that up for us again real quick.
It's tough on the computer for some reason.
Yeah, Cody and I have done a couple drafts together already for a couple different leagues here that he's set up, and it's Cody and I are thinking very similar this year on a lot of guys, and it's been very frustrating for me.
There we go.
There it goes. All right. Well, that's a bit of a run. Four running backs in a row. I highly doubt that that's going to happen in anybody's league this year.
Our league usually goes 7 to 8 running backs in a row.
It does. It does. I would still be surprised if that happened. But
I mean, where's Aaron drafting? Aaron's the one dude who's like, okay, I don't care about running backs. Let me draft a wide receiver.
It'll probably go something similar to this. Now, I am already saying that I think Kupp is highly overrated this year. And most of that is because I think Allen Robinson does take a lot of touches away from him. I don't think he comes anywhere close to what he did last year. I think he's still going to have a great year. He's still going to be a top 5 wide receiver. But I think this guy right here is probably going to be the number 1. Justin Jefferson, I like at 5. He drops to 5. You should be jumping all over that, in my opinion. Cup, other top running backs there all went. Cook, I got no problems with that. Najee Harris is going to have plenty of opportunity. Joe Mixon is going to be just fine.
Really tiny.
Devontae Adams, Stephen Diggs, all make sense. Pinky, what are you thinking here?
So, this is pretty easy here. To me, the next running back that's available that could have a top 5 season is DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
And I just think that's a no-brainer.
I agree with that in that situation at that location there, definitely.
And you know me as a typical 3 running backs guy. Like, that's my MO. That's what I believe in. But I can't let Jamar Chase not be on my team.
I fully agree. In that situation, there's a couple running backs there that could be very interesting to take. I think people are being scared of Alvin Kamara, but there's no reason to be. So he
sounds like he's not getting suspended right now.
No, he won't get suspended until 2023. So for him to fall that far in the draft is lucky for Team 7. Getting Cook and Kamara there would be a steal.
There's some risk and reward. The risk is, again, how many catches does he get with Winston? Because that's what provided a lot of his value in previous years, touchdowns and catches.
He's going to blow up. He's going to be just fine. He's probably going to be a top 5 running back this year.
If he's
healthy, then
you're getting him at a discounted price.
Absolutely. But taking Chase, that could arguably be wide receiver 2 this year. So getting him on the wrap with a DeAndre Swift, who's potential of a top 5 running back season, solid wrap.
Am I thinking here with Chubb and Kamara and Jones, they're all so similar that there's not one. I don't love any of those guys enough to be like over Chase.
Agreed. I still think Chubb is the best pure runner in the NFL. But he plays in a situation where they only allow him 15 to maybe 20 touches a game, which doesn't give him enough touches to be one of the top productive guys, which caps his ceiling, unfortunately. So while I love him and I think he's probably the best running back in the league on pure talent-wise, I don't think he gets the opportunities needed to be a fantasy top 5 guy. And that's why you wouldn't want to grab him that early. Now, this might surprise some people. I do believe this guy is going to have a huge bounce back year. I think he's going to have plenty of opportunity to do so. I think he's going to get plenty of touches to do so. And I love the head coach. So I am going to grab Barkley here, and I think that is a steal in the middle of the round.
I don't know why it's saying wow, but
Josh Allen going.
Allen got drafted.
Yeah.
Barkley, I love Barkley. I think he's a great pick. To me, you take Barkley. If you're risk averse, you probably take Javonte there. But I think you got to take the risk on Barkley because the upside is tremendous.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If you are risk averse, you could go more Javonte because he's going to have solid production in a really good offense this year. But he's going to be splitting carries with Melvin Gordon. So it's going to limit his ceiling a little bit. So if you're not worried about the risk, Barkley is the easy decision there.
I think so. I agree. Cheers.
Now, wrapping back around here, this is where it can start getting interesting in the middle of the rounds. Having that middle round pick, you could end up reaching a little bit here, depending on where you want to go. I think Keenan Allen is going to have a really solid year, but I also think there's a lot of deep wide receiver talent that you can snag later on down the road. I don't normally do this. This isn't something I normally would go out and do, but I think this guy is going to have one of those years, and I think there's enough depth where you can make up for picking this so early, I'm going to snag Justin Herbert right here.
Ooh. I mean, he threw for 5,000 last year, 30 touchdowns. Can't fault you there.
I think Kyle Pitts is slightly overrated. And I only say that because I don't know if Atlanta's going to be able to get enough opportunity to give him top 5 production.
He's not gonna be a top. I think talent wise, he's absolutely a top 3 tight end.
Agreed.
Fantasy wise, he is not a top 3 tight end.
Yeah, I don't see that just yet. I think he'll get there in the future if they keep drafting properly and put good pieces around him. I just don't see it happening this year. So I think that's a bit of a stretch. James Conner worries the hell out of me because of his injury history. He could have an amazing year. He could have a top 5 year easy.
Did he have 20 touchdowns last year?
17, I think.
Was 17?
Something like that. And he could easily repeat that. Easily. But you look at Team 7, and that's actually kind of a scary start, drafting there at the 7th position in a 12 team.
That's kind of my normal thing. Yeah. 3 running backs, right?
Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, James Conner. That's a scary little start for Team 7. So keep an eye on Team 7 as we go through this because, granted, it's auto pick, but that's a nasty little run right there that they've got. Keenan Allen to pair with Tyreek Hill and Najee, not bad. Terry McLaurin, I don't think is the guy you would have wanted there. I would have rather had T. Higgins personally. And I'm not high on Cam Akers at all. I think him and Henderson split, and I don't think Akers is going to do a whole lot.
I think there could be some risk reward there with Akers. You're taking a risk. He may split some carries. He might not be consistent. It's possible if he can return to his rookie form, you're getting a steal because he could be a top 10 running back in that offense. They do like to run the ball a lot.
They do. Now, I'm not risk adverse at all when it comes to Saquon. I am risk adverse as hell when it comes to Cam Akers. So, you're going to have your own decisions on each guy. You're going to have your own evaluation. I don't like the Cam Akers pick.
If Cam Akers fell to me, I would have had no problem taking him.
Fair.
Because the next group of running backs I don't feel have as much potential, except for one guy that I see out there at the moment.
If Cam Akers fell to me in the 4th round, I would have to rethink my strategy a little bit. But in the first 3, I don't like him.
So at this point,
second wrap, what are we looking at, Pinky?
I typically, if I took a running back wide receiver, I'm probably doing the same thing. Running back wide receiver.
I like that strategy. Double down on both.
So the one I see 2 guys on my list that I'm high on that I really think are going to do really well.
Okay.
And I know this might sound a shock to you, but yes, ETN will probably be pretty good in that offense this year.
I don't know. That's not a surprise. Who are you talking to? That's my boy.
Well, you're an ETN lover. You're an ETN lover. That's good. I can't fade him when he's in an offense that's going to play from behind. Lawrence will throw him the ball. Their O-line is better. It's not great, but it's better. He's going to get opportunities. So, and he's healthy.
Love that pick there. Love that pick here. So now wide receiver, then what are you looking at? I know what Cody says here, and I know what I'm thinking here is right along with Cody. Is Pinky on the same boat?
I can't see any of the comments now because I'm on full screen because I'm old and I have to get it a little bit larger.
Well, you take it, and then I'll let you know what the comments said. Interesting decision there. No, Cody and I were both on the same page with Michael Pittman going there over Waddle.
I really like Jalen Waddle. He caught 100 balls last year. Coverage is going to be on Tyreek. Jalen's going to eat up that middle stuff. The middle stuff is what Tua likes to throw. I think Jalen's going to have another big year like he had in his rookie year.
Now, with that all being said, love that idea and that thought process because I think you're absolutely right. 100 balls, close to 1,000 yards, 5 to 6 touchdowns for Waddle, PPR machine this year. So I don't hate that thought process at all.
I think Pittman could have a similar stat line as well, but I've already seen it from Waddle. I haven't seen it from Pittman yet, and that's where I'm at with those two guys. If Pittman was on the board and Waddle was already gone, I'd have no problem taking Pittman there either. But to me, I think the upside with Waddle is higher.
I like that thought process. I do. I like that thought process. Now, this, again, I don't, for whatever reason, I don't normally get drafts in the middle. My picks usually end up at the beginning or the back end. So drafting here in the middle is very unique for me. And as I'm looking at the board here and the way everything's falling, I like the idea of having another wide receiver one who I think is going to have a real big year. Based on what's still sitting here on the board, I'm not really feeling any of the running backs per se as much as I'm feeling this next guy, who I think is going to go for 1,412 roughly. Ooh. And I'm grabbing my boy right here.
Yeah, that was my debate, and I knew he wouldn't get back to me.
I think Cortland Sutton is going to blow up. By all accounts, Russell Wilson loves him. He is fully healthy after last year, coming back off an ACL. I am in love with Sutton this year.
I think he's getting 8 to 10 touchdowns at least in that range.
I like him for 1,412 and another, let's call it 90 catches. Like I see a huge year for Sutton. And those were the projections from that he had coming into 2020 before he tore his ACL. So I don't think that's unheard of at all. Coming back and looking here a little bit, I'm not liking what Team 1's doing here. I don't like Leonard Fournette. I think he's going to lose touches a lot. DK Metcalf I'm not feeling this year because his quarterbacks aren't going to be able to get him the ball. Love J.K. Dobbins, especially in that Ravens run-first offense. Big J.K. Dobbins guy. Team 2, McCaffrey, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, Josh Jacobs. Hit and miss. Jacobs could be really good or he could lose touches. I think Breece Hall is going to be really good. I like A.J. Brown. Him and Jalen Hurts have a great connection. Team 3, I mean, damn. There's another running back stack that's looking really mean. I think Zeke has a huge bounce back year. I know I'm kind of on my own there, but I think Zeke has a huge bounce back year. Javonte Williams, Derrick Henry, that's loaded. Darren Waller is really nice. Amari Cooper's a question mark. He could have a really good year quietly, or that offense could just look like trash until Watson gets back. So that's hit and miss there. Team 4, Eckler, Deebo Samuel, Mark Andrews, David Montgomery, Jerry Jeudy. That's a solid little start there. Would you agree?
Sure.
Back to me here. Another running back would be nice, but we're kind of in a zone here where, I'd almost have to reach. But I do think this guy can have a really big year. And let's face it, he's in an offense that is going to give him every opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, there's only one choice here, man.
Right. I agree. So this is where I'm headed.
Yeah, that was a no-brainer.
I agree. I like that there. I'm not mad about that at all. Let's go back and look at Team 7 here. Pittman and then Dalton Schultz. I like it. Team 7's still looking really good to me. Team 8, I'm a little hesitant on because I'm not so sure about Marquise Brown and George Kittle staying healthy for a year. I do like the Marquise Brown and Kyler Murray connection, though, because they played in college together. Marquise had 1,000 yards last year with Baltimore, so he could have a huge year this year. He could also not do a lot because they could just double team the crap out of him. And without, I don't really see anything coming from A.J. Green. And without Hopkins being there, Brown could be on the fence. Team 9. What do you think about Team 9 here, Pinky, so far?
I mean, I'm not a huge I like Scary Terry. I don't know if I like Scary Terry with Wentz. I don't know. I think that's a risk. But Mixon and Jones, awesome. Yep. They're both going to be very those are two guys that their floor is 15 to 20 points a week, and they can still get you 30 points a week.
Agreed.
And that you need that consistency. Lamar, I think Lamar's going to do what Lamar does. It's going to be
Yep.
3,000 yards or more, 25 touchdowns, 800 at 1,000 rushing, and 5 to 10 touchdowns rushing. Like, when it comes to fantasy, Lamar's the man.
Heck yeah. What do you think about that Michael Thomas pick there?
I mean, it's a risk. We haven't seen him in 2 years. We haven't seen him with Crab Daddy. So it's a risk there. But again, it's sometimes you got to take a risk for the reward. If he comes
given
back,
the wide receivers on the board here still in this next 7 to 10
I would have taken Allen Robinson, Amon St. Brown,
Mike Williams, Godwin.
I would have taken all of those guys over Mike Thomas. Mike Thomas is that guy. Like, if all of those guys are gone, taking the risk on Mike Thomas makes sense.
I think Mike Thomas to me is sitting in like the 8th round, and that's where you get your value. And if you're drafting him anywhere before then, you're making a huge mistake personally.
Probably. So it's my pick.
Wrap us again.
So I do love Allen Robinson.
I like that.
Year.
I like that.
I think he is going to be awesome in that McVay offense. He's always been really good and not really had a quarterback. True. I really like that. There's a guy I really like on the board still, and I think I can't take him. Well, you know what? I can take him. I'm going to take Amon St. Brown.
I was hoping he'd roll back down to me. Nice pick. I like that. I like that pick there.
There's a guy I follow on Twitter, and he's very big into Amon St. Brown. And he kind of talked me into him. And when you look at his numbers from last year, the guy produces, man. He just produces. So I had to go with him.
I like that pick there, Pinky. Well done. Well done. Now you put me in a bit of a spot where.
And again, this is completely opposite of my normal MO.
Yeah, mine too. We're in the same boat. I was hoping Amon or AJ Dillon would fall to me, actually. Those were the two guys I kind of have my eye on here with my next pick. They're obviously both gone. So I think this guy can have a really big year. And again, kind of going against my normal MO, but everything coming out of camp is he is just killing it this year. He's going to be one of the top targets, especially with the wide receivers that they have now, drawing away the double teams from him finally. I think you could see some big things out of this man right here, Dallas Goedert, this year.
Sure.
Now, coming back around to me, I was hoping Darnell Mooney would fall back to me. That was who I was debating between, him or Goddard at that position.
I was hoping Russell would get back to me. That makes me sad.
Russ did not make it back to you, so now you're going to be in a predicament here. Given what's on the board here now, I actually think this guy is going to have a breakout year, and I think he is very controversial. You're either on the fence, you're either on the side of the fence where he busts out and has a huge year, or he is what he is, and that playoff game last year was an aberration. I do not believe it is an aberration. I believe that was his coming out party. I like Gabe Davis.
Yeah, without a doubt. He looks for Gabe Davis for touchdowns more than Diggs.
Yep.
And why wouldn't you? Diggs is always covered.
So looking here now, we're starting to get in some depth positions here, Pinky. What are you thinking, my man?
Well, I've got...
And wait, pause real quick. I will say, if you're taking DeAndre Hopkins in the 7th round right now, I think you're reaching. Only because he is definitely not playing the first 6 weeks, and he does have injury history issues.
No, I've got some other guys.
Pinky, can you do me a favor on your screen? Can you scroll up so that we can start seeing the empty spots?
For some reason, it won't let me.
Won't let you do anything. You can't minimize or nothing.
So I can Give me a sec. Let me see if I can get it to work. It's like this keyboard's not working. There we are. So
while you're looking at that, Timothy, great question. Fourth pick in a standard league. If you're in a standard league, if it is not PPR, I would definitely take Cook. You can, if Derrick Henry falls to you at 4, I think that would be a really great pick as well. But I would be looking at probably Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook in that situation for you at the 4th pick in a standard league. I would not go Jefferson unless it's PPR that early, just because that's going to make up a lot of his points.
I promise, guys, this is not my first time.
Pinky, we just had a question here from Timothy. He's got the 4th pick in a standard league. He likes to go running back normally. Wondering if he should take Jefferson. Wants us to talk him off the ledge. He's thinking about Cook.
Take Cook.
Standard league, I said Cook's the go-to there.
Take Cook.
Now, I also did say, though, if Henry falls to him, he should be snatching up Henry over Cook. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, we just haven't seen Henry normally have this kind of injury problem. So I would say, we got to stick with what we've seen. Henry is normally pretty safe, doesn't get hurt. If Henry's there, take him. If he's not, I'm taking Cook. I think Cook in this offense, because it's the Mike Shanahan offense.
Yep.
Mike Shanahan's offense. They run the football.
Yes,
they run the football in the red zone. So Cook is going to have a great year, I think, in my opinion.
I agree. Now, a little bit of an injury history issue with Cook there, so that could be the drawback possibly. But he usually still plays 14, 15 games. He only misses a couple here and there. So, Timothy, if you're going to take Cook, I would be looking at reaching a little bit on Madison probably. Back it up with Madison. Take him a little earlier than maybe his average draft position says. But Cook or Henry would be my pick at 4 there for you, especially in the standard league, sir.
Yeah, I know there's that feeling of taking Jefferson, but in a standard league, touchdowns are king, and I think Cook's going to have quite a few touchdowns. All right, I got to make a pick here, and I think I'm going to fade tight ends right now. I still like Zach Ertz, but I love this guy as well.
I know where you're going.
So
Hunter Renfrow. Pause it real quick, Pinky, for me.
I disagree with Cody here. I don't believe that you have to take handcuffs. If you just take a better running back at another position, you don't have to take a handcuff.
I'll agree with that. But Madison currently is now in. We're playing sleeper, Timothy. That's kind of what we're going off of right now. So sleeper rankings. If you're looking at Madison, he is currently going projected in round 10. I would reach and grab him, with your 9th pick. Your 9th pick, I would grab Madison.
I still think there's a couple running backs out there right now that are better than Madison.
Not at that area. I don't think.
When we get to 9 or 10, maybe not. But right now there are.
Right now there are for sure. Right. But Madison eats, just like Cody just said, Madison eats when he gets touches. So I think it would be worth grabbing him in the 9th. If he goes before your pick in the 9th, Timothy, I wouldn't worry about it. But on sleeper, he's currently projected to be a 10th round pick. So I would grab him around early in that situation if you take Cook.
And from what I've seen from last year and
anytime,
so far,
Timothy, anytime, sir. Sorry, Pinky, go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Timothy. We appreciate you, buddy. And again, that's just one opinion. If you really like Jefferson, we can't fault you taking him either in that case. But standard leagues are normally running back heavy.
Absolutely.
So, which is why I don't play in any standard leagues, because I hate that format. And once I found out PPR was a thing, I got out of standards because I like the running backs and wide receivers having a similar value to each other.
For sure.
I'm going to take Singletary here.
That is an interesting pick, Pinky.
Now, he came on strong second half of last year. He does play in a high-powered offense, so he should have opportunities. He's also my third running back. I've got enough wide receivers that I may not have to start 3 running backs.
Yeah, you definitely do. That's very true. This next guy that I'm about to snatch, I believe is going to have a huge year. I think he's going to break out onto the scene this year. I am so glad he fell to me. I was looking at him for a long time. Hope he was going to be available for me here. It's part of the reason I'm drafting the way I am.
Cody, James Cook will not be the starter by week 5, bro. Everything from training camp, everything he's shown so far, he's still backing up hard. He's actually not even over Zach Moss right now, who's got like 3 touchdowns. So
I agree with Pinky. He's not going to be the starter, but I think him and Singletary will be splitting touches by the middle of the year.
Will he get some time later? Sure, but it's a high-powered offense. I'm not worried about that.
This is where Pinky should have gone. This guy is going to be the starter in a really good offense. Chase Edmonds, guys, be keeping an eye on that guy right now because that is a money pick.
I want no part of the Miami backfield. I want none.
That dude's going to eat this year. Chase Edmonds will eat.
I don't want Edmonds. I don't want Mostert. I don't want the other guy.
Sleeper alert right now, Chase Edmonds. Mostert, trash. Gaskins, trash. None of those guys are going to do anything. Edmonds stays healthy. He eats big time.
Well, they just picked up another running back that's actually in line.
Edmonds, eating. Market. Now, dang. Really hoping Allen Lazard was going to fall. I think that's a sneaky wide receiver 1 with Aaron Rodgers. Think he has a big year. He's obviously gone. So I think this guy, think he's not high on him. But again, we're playing PPR, and I think PPR-wise, he will eat. I like Christian Kirk with Trevor Lawrence.
In the 9th round? Sure. I don't hate that. Ah, damn it. There's a little run of quarterbacks the last.
A little bit of run on quarterbacks. So now what are you thinking, buddy?
I think I got screwed. Oh, wait. No, there's 2 guys I still like out there.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, I'm good there.
Which one are you going to go with?
Well, first, another guy I'm high on. And I actually think the 2 guys right here that I have lined up could be either one. But I just like taking the gamble here. I'm going to take Dameon Pierce.
Ooh, okay. By all accounts, he's going to get a lot of touches down there in Houston.
Look, he's healthy last week, and they held him out of the game. And they let Marlon Mack run the ball. You don't hold a guy out of the game, and if he still has more to prove to you.
That's not my concern. My concern more is does he get enough opportunity based on the team he's playing for? But Davis Mills has been shown that he can matriculate the ball down the field pretty well, and I'm big on Davis Mills. So that late in that position, 9th round, end of the 9th round, basically 10th round, that's a good, solid little pick.
Can I wait? Can I wait longer?
Pinky's really starting to risk it biscuit here if he doesn't grab somebody that I'm thinking he will.
No, I'm going to double down.
Oh, boy. Melvin Gordon.
I
feel like that's honestly almost a wasted pick there.
I don't. Melvin Gordon's still going to get run. It's 60-40. Javonte is definitely the starter. He's definitely get the majority. But Gordon's going to get enough that I could throw him in as a flex play if I need to.
Okay. All right. Fair. I don't hate that reasoning. I could go pretty much anywhere here at this point, as far as I'm concerned. I am thinking at this point, I don't really like a lot of the guys in this area, to be perfectly honest with you. What to do here?
I mean, there's a couple guys. There's one guy that you love that's available at tight end.
Oh, I'll get him on the wrap. You'll see that on the wrap. I think I'm going to go with this guy right here because I think he could have a big year as a rookie.
Yeah. I was thinking
A lot of people think George Pickens might have been the best wide receiver in this draft. And he's been showing some things in camp. I'm going to risk it there a little bit and grab him.
So I was taking the risk that Carr or Cousins would make it back to me.
I know you were, and they did not.
So
now you're going to be in a bit of a predicament there, sir.
There's one more guy I'm very comfortable with if he gets back to me.
Now, I have two options here. I can go tight end and double down on my tight end position here, which I do like having two. Or I can go with a rookie running back who I think will actually see a lot of red zone touches and possibly get even more as the season progresses. And I like the idea of that red zone opportunity. And so I'm going to grab this rookie here in Tyler Algier.
I had Tua as a consideration, but this one's easy for me.
Yep, that's not bad.
So I feel good about that. And you know me, I do like to should still be on me, right?
It is.
I'm going to take another rookie running back as well. And take Brian Robinson.
Decision. That's going to be interesting to see what happens with him and Antonio Gibson. I think Washington's an idiot for not letting Gibson go and eat. I think he is crazy talented, but they seem to like Robinson, so that could work out for you.
They like Robinson a lot, so feeling pretty good there.
My tight end went one pick before me. This is happening a lot here with these picks being in the middle of the round. I'm big on Irv Smith. I am big on Irv Smith, and I think in that offense, he is going to have a potentially top 5 tight end year. And by all accounts, they like him a lot too. So I am very high on Irv Smith, especially when you can steal him later in the draft. I am not going to be able to do that, though. So I'm going to have to look elsewhere.
I was hoping he was going to get back to me.
Well, he was not. I guarantee you that much. He was not. So you made a mistake by not grabbing him there. I think
mistakes were made.
I like kind of the depth I have already. I'm a big fan of, in these leagues, I like having at least 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, and then filling in with wide receivers and running backs. Given where I'm at right now and the fact that the quarterback market is starting to get real thin real quick, I am higher on this guy than a lot of people. I think he is going to have a big year because his coach is no longer there, and his coach is probably as bad as Urban Meyer was for Trevor Lawrence. But I'm going to go with Justin Fields because I love the potential with the arm and the leg. Love it. He's going to ball out this year, Pinky.
He is not.
He is.
He's not. I'm sorry, bro. From a fantasy perspective, he's not. Maybe that 1 week is a week that you play him. He's playing a shitty opponent, and he does ball out that 1 week. Awesome to you. But other than that, no.
I'm sorry, man. He's set up regular and fantasy, Pinky.
He is set up for failure, my man.
he's got some weapons that he can use, and he's been showing that he can use them.
He has 0 weapons.
No, he does. Cole Kmet's going to have a huge year. Darnell Mooney is going to have a big year. They already showed that they can do it with Nagy, and he's gone. So it's going to get only better. And David Montgomery's still there with Khalil Herbert in the backfield. The only thing they don't have is an offensive line, but my guy with his legs can get around that a little bit. Now, like I said, I like to double down on quarterback and tight end. This next tight end pick I'm going to make is solely based on hearsay and the way they've talked about wanting to use him in the offense coming out of camp. It's a big what if, but the what ifs are sometimes what can make or break you. And with him being my second tight end, I think it's worth the risk here, and I'm going to grab Gerald Everett.
All right, let's roll these last 3, my man. All right. There's a tight end I still like here, and I will take him. I like Robert Tonyan. Him and Aaron Rodgers make sweet love together.
Interesting.
And, God, I could grab another tight end. I kind of need I got 5 wide receivers. I don't really need another one. I can probably pick one up off of waivers. So I'm just gonna pick up Herbert now.
Interesting. I think this guy has a nice bounce back year. He had a big year a couple years ago in Jacksonville. I think he can be the deep threat that they need to help open up that offense. This late, I think it's totally worth it. I'm going to go DJ Shark. And with my final pick in this draft, I am going to go on potential again in a high-power offense. They've been saying a lot of good things about this guy in Minnesota. I like KJ Osborne as a last round.
Sure. I like that. And I'm going to draft another guy. Yeah, I'm just going to go with a wide receiver here. I'm going to go with Nico Collins. Why
Love
not?
it. Love that pick. Love that pick to wrap it up and end it out. So that's our board. Screenshot it if you want. You ever have any questions about fantasy? You're going back and forth on some dudes. As always, hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. One of our podcasts, jump on and throw out a question. We're more than happy to answer, talk, discuss. Pinky and I are talking all the time daily about this stuff. So anytime one of us gets a question, we're running it by the other one, and we're both talking about it before we throw out answers.
I am completely shocked by my team right now. Completely shocked.
It's an interesting one.
I have the 11th spot in our.
I know. That's why I'm like, what happens? What happens here? I'm at 9, Pinky. So there could be a lot of sniping between the two of us here in Saturday's draft.
You snipe Zach's guys. All right.
No, Zach snipes mine. There's a difference, sir. There is a difference. Zach snipes mine, not the other way around. It's the burden of being a genius, though, and talking too much.
This episode brought to you by the unofficial sponsor, Macallan 12.
Oh, delicious. Oh, delicious.
God, this is so good, man. It's so good.
So good.
I gotta do my best to not drink this all. It's hard.
It is. It's a difficult thing to do. Final thoughts, Pinky. Final thoughts, sir.
Again, at the end of the day, try to build value on your squads. I always tell people, hey, you know what? Grab your guys.
Yeah.
Because regardless, your guys you are going to be happy with. It might not work out for you, but at least you'll be happy after the draft is over that, hey, you grabbed your guys.
Fully agree with that. I am notorious for, quote unquote, what people say, reach for guys. But I have my own evaluations. I have my own thoughts, and I grab who I like when I like. I don't necessarily go by rankings.
And sometimes knowing your league mates allows you to know I can't wait another round to draft this guy.
Absolutely.
Like he will be gone when I come back. Right? Again, like as you guys saw, I took risk. I thought, I grabbed my Melvin Gordon, I could still get Carr or Cousins. I was wrong. I would probably go back and change that now. So now I know. I've learned, which is what mocks are for. Do mocks.
Absolutely.
And
mocks are beneficial. It definitely helps you get an idea of where you're looking and what you can plan on. And then if somebody throws a wrench into your plans, you can have an idea of what to do to back that up.
All right, guys. I love you. We have our fantasy draft with a lot of the podcast guys on Saturday. So I'm sure Tuesday's episode, maybe we'll pull it up and let you guys see, and maybe we'll say good things. Maybe we'll say some bad things. Who knows?
Yeah, that could be a good way to go and talk a little more fantasy before we roll into how we're going to start, throwing down some bets for week 1 in our record. So
making that money.
With that being said, as always, love everybody. Appreciate the support. Go hang out and spend that time with your loved ones, your family. Soak that up as much as you possibly can. We're out till next week. Peace.
Get Javonte. Whatever it takes.